Well, do you believe dating in the workplace is even allowed, period?
So some jobs don't allow it, some jobs do. The thing I would say, if this is where you want to work, you love it here, you're not leaving, be sure that that person is your husband.
Say 3 years down the road, you're trying to get senior position at this job. Your relationship with this person could potentially affect that position. Do you believe dating in the workplace just is allowed, period? Or where's the caveat? You must envision that person as your husband.
So literally, you should be able to spend time with the person and you guys enjoy each other's company, this group stuff. So you take it back to old school courting. So literally, there has to be strong intention for marriage.
Blueprint. This conversation about building up your blueprint. It's time to take it because time is wasted. Go grind and chase it, don't lose it.
Yo, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to the Respect My Blueprint podcast, where we give you the blueprint on how to do shit, all right? And today's show, man, ladies, I have something special for you, okay? This is a little bit, we're taking a little left from what we normally accustomed to having here because, I have a love coach on the show today, y'all. Ooh, Yes, okay. We're going to talk about some relationships in the workplace. We're going to talk about love. We're going to talk about all of the sexiness that's permeating in the society nowadays because feminism is at an all-time high. I believe so. And, I brought an expert on today's show, someone not only a matchmaking expert, but also a relationship expert and someone who works with professional women and getting them to that next level and attracting men, right? So, and I'm happy to introduce none other than Dr. Casandra Henriquez, but also goes as Coach Cass. How are you doing?
I'm so excited to be here. Thanks for having me, Wes. Had to get away from the fam and come hang out with the blueprint.
Just a little bit. We ain't
ready.
gonna take you off for a little bit. I know you're a busy woman. You
ready
feel me?
To lay the track. Let's get it. I'm ready to lay it all on the table. The entire blueprint. I'm ready.
All right, that's what's up. But before we get into the blueprint, okay, now for the audience, because normally our audience is heavily male dominated because this is a business podcast. So.
Serious.
Now that we have a new face on the show, if you could kind of introduce yourself, because I know a lot of the guests are like, who is this lady?
Yeah.
So tell a little bit about the fellas and the ladies that's watching who you are.
All right. So I'm Dr. Casandra Henriquez, also known as Coach Cass, America's go-to love doctor, best-selling author of Wanted Woman. Okay, so we could talk about the business side. We can talk about the relationship side. I got both sides. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
I am happily married. Beautiful baby girl. And, really, Wes, my story is there was a guy that I was dating that I thought was the one. You ever thought somebody was the one?
That happens to everybody. It starts off lust, puppy love, however you're right.
But 2 years in, I thought this was really it.
Right.
Built business. We traveled together. I knew this was the one. And one Christmas Eve, I got a call from a mutual friend. I was like, oh, Merry Christmas. He's like, yeah, that's not why I'm calling. I said, what's up? He says, he's married.
Whoa. 2 years in. Hold on. Wait a minute. Wait. A whole 24 months in?
Yes.
Like, damn. Okay.
2 years in. Hindsight is 2020.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother episode. But my heart shattered.
Obviously,
I walked away from that relationship. Good Christian woman that I am. You know what I'm saying?
All right.
I walked away from that relationship. But it didn't just leave me. Right, the guilt, the shame,
everything.
Like I had a heavy cloud just raining on me daily.
Aside from the heartbeat, obviously.
Oh man,
right.
And then I kept dating. Wes, I kept dating the wrong guy after the wrong guy after the wrong guy. I'm like, yo, something's gotta give. So literally, my defining moment came when I got maybe my 29th wedding invitation. You ever felt like everybody was getting married?
Yeah, you'd be like that. Everybody catching these wedding flowers but me. What's going on? Right.
And so I said, you know what? I'm going to draw a line in the sand. But I decided to draw that line behind me. I said, you know what? I'm going to do something different. I'm not going to go back because I didn't want to turn into a pillar of salt. If you know, you know.
Right, okay.
And so then I decided to move forward. So I went to marriages conferences as a single woman. Like there's a cutout where.
Whoa. Hold on. Make it make sense for me, Coach Cass here.
You got to surround yourself right with the information that'll help you get to where you're trying to go.
Okay.
Right? So I went to these conferences and I put my face in the cutout for the bride, and then there was like no grooms, like
Yeah,
going
just
on
just a
here?
question mark right here for now, right?
He's coming, right?
Right.
And I interviewed couples who have been married for over 25 years, but actually still liked each other. Wes, you know some grumpy married people.
Listen, 25. At that point, most people, you just settling. You be like, okay, we got a couple decades in. We just chill for now, right? I
And
feel
so
you.
I had to seek out people that were still excited about their spouse because I'm
Makes sense.
Jamaican, but
Oh.
and a lot of these Jamaicans was out here not looking too happy, right? I said,
Oh, man.
no, I don't know about this. So
Mm.
then I started to look at the fact that I had this limiting belief that I felt like you couldn't have business and love at the same time, success, right? And so I started to interview successful women who were successful in business and in love. Because a part of me felt like you couldn't do the both of them. So all of that brought me to this amazing man named Andy, right?
Oh,
Who
okay.
is now my husband. Yes, he still gets on my
Oh,
nerves.
Andy.
Okay,
Oh,
let's be
Andy,
clear.
tying up now.
Let's be clear.
Okay.
Let's
All
be
right.
clear. I am not here to sell pipe dreams. I
Right,
am here
right.
to talk about reality, but I'd rather do life with him than without him. And now we have a beautiful baby
Wow.
girl. And what I realized is that there are so many professional women that settle, right? And maybe they were like, their parents were like mine, study a book, love will come.
Right.
So they focus on the career, the community, the cousins, the crew, everything else but themselves. Love is on the back burner. It's like, where is it? Is it coming? When does it come? And then on the other side is the woman that's praying in her back closet for her Boaz, her high value man, this amazing knight in shining armor. But sis, don't leave the house. So literally, that's where I come in, where my passion and my purpose have come together, where I support professional women in their love journey. So I don't believe it's just about getting the guy. I really believe that is also about who are you in this process.
As a person, right, throughout the
Yes,
journey.
as a person. So what I believe is that every woman is a wanted woman. So wanted, a double entendre.
Okay.
Wanted means woman achieving new triumphs every day. So I believe that every woman was born wanted, but now it's to figure out, well, sis, what do you want?
I like that. Especially, again, as we started off the show, we even talked about it, how, today's women in business is at an all-time high, right?
Yeah.
Feminism
Mm-hmm.
is like,
Women run the world.
right? Come on now. Beyonce done started a whole new trend now. You feel me? Okay. But, and I love it. I like it because from obviously the steps that had to be taken for women to get to where we at right now is monumental, right? So my question is, as you're working with professional women, right? I want to set the stage a little bit. What are your thoughts about 2023 feminism? Working with the professional women right now. What's your thoughts?
Working with professional women, I feel that we are more aware of
Okay.
what we are owed in society, right? Like, and we're no longer just laying down and taking whatever comes. But unfortunately, that doesn't always translate into love, right?
Right.
So yes, in terms of business, I'm going to take charge. I'm going to make things happen. I'm going to climb this career ladder. I'm going to shatter all the glass ceilings. Shoot, we have a female VP, right? That's a big deal.
And in the Supreme Court now.
Right, exactly. So
Right.
to think that
Come
would
on
even
now.
happen
Right.
way back not even way back, 30, 40 years ago, that's a big deal. But when it comes to love, still, we have these old school rules or old school
The old school
mentality.
virtues you're kind of holding on to, right?
And it's just like, I like a virtuous woman, but that doesn't mean that you have to be a doormat. That doesn't mean that you can't set boundaries. That doesn't mean that you can't ask for what you want.
Okay. And now, well, I agree with you, but, what are your thoughts on the critics saying that, that's just another form of entitlement that, professional women or, feminism is trying to extract right now?
Okay, so
She's like, hold on now.
Here's
Hold
the
on now.
thing, right? Back in the day, what did women do? They cooked, they cleaned, they took care of the kids, and the men brought home the bacon. Right. But now
It's
we
different.
are, as women, expected to cook, to clean, to take care of the kids, and bring home the bacon. See that's a whole lot, right? That's a whole lot, right? So when we talk about entitlement,
You're like, that's a whole life now. Come on.
I think that entitlement is actually more on the men, right? It's like, sis got to bring something to the table, and she also has to cook my favorite ackee and saltfish griot going on,
Whoa, she don't
rice
pull
and
it
beans
out.
and
Yeah.
curry goat. You know what I mean? Like, you got to be able to do all the mofongo, right? We have to see all these things.
I'm just okay. You have a point,
Mongoose,
there.
right?
Yeah.
So We gotta do all this stuff.
Fellas, I need some support, man. She's laying it hot right now, man. She got a point, though.
I'm pretty sure the fellas are like, yup, that's right.
You feel me? But we love y'all, though. You know, I'm just saying to some of the critics. I'm not one of those critics, though. I'm just saying.
We are also tired. It's tiring. Right?
I mean, it is.
I gotta secure the bag and secure the man and secure the food and secure the children and secure the trips and secure the hair. Then I gotta get my hair done. Nails done.
I mean, you know, you gotta have the upkeep now. You got to have the upkeep.
Then I have to work out, you know. All the things gotta keep snapping.
Man, you know what? Shots out for that. I'm gonna put my Nori on right now. And we're gonna give a shots out to the ladies right now. Cause I'm not gonna be a hater to the ladies. Yeah, cause she really made a good point, right? Okay, thank you for the late one on the other side of the wall right there. But we're gonna keep it going. But you know what, Coach Cass. All right. So let me ask you a question now, because, you know, the workplace is still male dominated.
Yes, much so.
Right. And although females are entering into the workplace, but what is your thoughts? How do women balance their feminism in such a masculine dominated industry such as leadership or being in business, right? Because here's the thought, here's the point I'm trying to make here, right? We had the Harvey Weinstein situation, right, where women are being exploited, where they're trying to advance in their careers and things like that, right? But also, again, women 2023, hey, we deserve a place in the marketplace as far as being women entrepreneurs. We securing the bag too, right? Yeah. So how do I keep my pretty girl status, but not also have to be so aggressive being in, you know, in a pool of sharks and men in a men dominated industry?
So here's the thing. I think that femininity actually gets you further than it does, right? So men, right, turn into puppy dogs. They do.
Oh man, she don't she don't bust a shot at us, man. Yeah, I just gave you a clap. You know, I was clapping.
Your femininity. When you are soft, there's something in a man, a real man. Now, if it's, you know, there's so many variations, but when it comes to men, right? Men, what they call cisgender men born as men who are men with men, right?
Right.
So when men come across a woman who operates in her femininity, there's something about them that kind of melts a little, you know? So
touch that soft spot. Yes. Get below the armor a little bit. I like that.
Could get more done with you operating in my femininity than I can trying to match your macho.
That is so, you know what? That's going to be a hot clip right there, because you know what? You know, and and listen, I feel like that's a lost start right now, because again, you just mentioned it, how there's so many responsibilities for a woman. So it's easily to get lost in the sauce of, okay, trying to wear the pants in a relationship sometimes, you know? So you working with a lot of women right now, you know, what's your advice to them? Do you tell them, say, hey, it is okay to wear a skirt and, you know, secure the bag at the same time? Or, you know, do you tell, okay, well, here's a better question. On a range of 1 to 100, what is the scale of percentage it's okay for a woman to wear the pants in a relationship?
Oh, pants in the relationship?
Right.
I wear pants, period. I know,
but you know.
So wear the pants in a relationship. I think it comes down to who you with, right? Because the reason how we end up in our masculinity ends up being, you know, the get stuff done, like your show, right? So we're getting stuff done, we're making it happen. That's us operating in our masculinity. Right. As women, we kind of tend to lean that way because a lot of times men ain't doing it, right? Like it just
that is true, right? Men, if they're falling short, right?
Men will do it at work, but when it comes to home, golly, right? You know, we think about all the things. So yes, we end up operating in the masculine to get stuff done for our family, what we need to get done for the relationship, the things that need to be planned. In most relationships, the men are not doing that. Unfortunately, you know, you kind of want them to, but they don't. And that's like that natural struggle, which is why we are called to be loved and you are called to be respected, right? It just is what it is, right? It just is what it is.
Right.
So I think that women do wear pants in their relationships because more than likely the man has other things that he's taking care of. And just in terms of the natural way that a mind goes with a man, they're kind of like focused on one thing. All right, I'm gonna do this one thing. I'm gonna do it well. Women,
Yeah,
they
kind of
do
tunnel.
75 things.
Okay.
You know,
that is true, especially you dealing with kids and like you
Yes.
said, and everything else
Who's
that comes
the one
on.
telling you about the kids' play? The woman. I'm pretty sure you didn't remember. Oh, that was today. I had a podcast, right?
Man, she exposing some stuff right now, y'all.
After she done told you 72
Yeah,
times.
you know.
You know what I mean? It's not that we want to do that.
Good point.
It's
Good point.
not. We do not wake up wanting to do these
It's just
things.
by default, pretty much.
By
That's
default. We're
right.
good at it, right? And so
Okay.
that ends us in the masculine. So we have to literally take a moment and say, okay, well, how do I dial into my feminine side? I talk about this in my book. It's like, how do I take a moment? How do I take a beat to remember what that is? How do I get into my body? How do I dance when like nobody's watching? How do I get in tune with my higher power, which for me is God? You know, how do I do devotion? How do I do a gratitude journal? How do I get in this space that I can remember that there's a feminine side? Because golly, it's real easy. I was raised by a tribe of women who were like, you don't need no man, right? Like what I saw.
Yeah, that's
right?
what's the movie I could
Henriquez.
reference to? That's Sister Got a Groove Back or something like that. Is that okay? I
Oh,
may be
Stella
Got a Groove back. I said
yeah,
sister. My
but
bad.
you know,
Go
it's
ahead.
literally like the anthem. If you're fed up with your boyfriend, let him go. Right? So you just let him go. Right? Like, so what I saw growing up was men were disposable. Men weren't needed, and you only called on men when you needed something fixed, whether it's your pipes or the pipes. You know what I mean?
Right.
So whatever that be.
Right.
And so I had to come to terms with, I can't treat my husband like that. You know, like I can't just be like, come hither when I need you.
Right,
go
like
away
a
when I
toy,
don't.
pretty much.
Yeah.
Right. I see what you're saying.
Because what it turns out to be is like, oh, you could live over there and I'll call you when I need you instead of doing life together. So that was a whole new thing that I had to learn myself.
A whole different rewire and approach that you had
Yeah.
to take when it comes to
The
relationships.
stuff
right.
that we carry is so serious. I was talking to a client yesterday. She met a guy. She was really excited. 4-hour conversation.
Mhm.
He divorced maybe 4 years ago, but then in the conversation, he found out that his mom treated him worse than the rest of his siblings. And this is a new awareness. And he asked his siblings.
At
they're
that
like,
moment, he just aware of that. Right.
No. But he was
Oh.
just saying like in the last like month,
Oh, okay.
he found this out. So this is a grown man that just figured this out. And he asked his siblings, like, they're like, yeah, mom treated you worse. He's like, oh, and his wife cheated on him. Who?
Mhm.
Right?
Okay.
And he has 2 children that he has to go see during the week because he misses them. So I was like, that's a lot.
A lot on his plate right
That's
there.
a lot
right,
that's
to
going on
manage and
that you're
deal with.
dealing with and managing. Now, what I'm excited about is he's in therapy, he's doing the things, but then also as a single woman, you have to say to yourself, do I desire to take that on? Because the person that I was talking to, right?
good point.
The person that I was talking to is recently divorced. And I said, I want you to be very careful because what you came from was a mess, right? Not to say that I condone divorce or all the things that, but
Right.
she was divorced, right? And what she's coming from is something heavy, right? A very heavy divorce.
A lot of baggage and
a
things
lot
like
of
that.
stuff happened there,
Right,
right?
okay.
But then you don't have to start your new relationship with that baggage because you got used to it. You see? So since you're used to the baggage, you're like, oh, I'll take this on easy. No, right? So when you're starting
Easier
out a
said than done,
relationship-
though, don't you think?
Right. This is why we work
Right,
together,
okay,
right?
all right.
This is why we try and clean that slate because what happens is when we roll from one relationship to the other, we
Mhm.
wonder why it keeps getting worse and worse. It's because you were okay with the madness and then
Right.
you're like, oh, this is not as crazy. I'll take this up. Don't do that, right?
Yeah, kind of that
when-
toxic stuff. Yeah.
When you
Mhm.
start a relationship, it should be some ebb and flow and some ease to it. And for some of us, that's something brand new that we've never experienced. And so we don't think it exists. So then we keep choosing not the right one.
Which to pour gasoline on that fire. I mean, think about it now. We growing in a different era now. It's social media. The options are so prevalent now. If you wanted to meet somebody back in the day, you was only limited to your zip code.
Right.
You know, now
Right.
the whole world is your oyster now
Yeah.
because of social media. So and the temptation is so high because
Mhm.
of now all the alterations that can be made, you
Yeah.
know, and everything like that. So it's
Yeah, when they turn 70 and it's still so plump, I don't know.
you know, but you know, it's like, oh, okay, Photoshop does work wonders nowadays. You feel me?
Yeah.
But you know, I want to switch gears into, you know, dating into the workplace,
Mm.
right? Because you deal with a lot of professional women, so I know this is a
Yes.
topic you have to really, really navigate through,
Yeah,
right?
What they say, don't poop where you eat. Don't eat.
Yeah, that
Like,
is.
that's a thing.
But
right?
how hard is that if you're at a career, right? Number one, 9 times out of 10 you spend more time at your job than you do at home,
Right.
right?
Exactly.
And your job 9 times out of 10 requires you building relationships, right?
What I see a lot of time is that the unattractive person becomes attractive if you work with them long enough, right? So
Damn.
when you first meet this person, you're like, oh, hell no, right?
Right.
And then after a couple months to a year, y'all are kikiing, going to lunch, having a good time, and you're like, oh, well, they are rather attractive, right? Like somebody you would have never given the time of day is now a viable option. So for those in a relationship, I say guard your heart and set boundaries, right? So if you're in a relationship and you work with people of the opposite sex, it is very easy. Well, if that's what you're attracted to, right?
Fall victim.
It's to fall into a trap, right? To fall into that, or to have affairs, or to do things like that. So it's a reminder of who you with. Who did you decide to marry? Who did you decide to be with? And more than likely, you doing anything with this person is not worth you losing and rocking your own world. That's one.
Wow, I like that.
Okay?
I like that.
So then 2, in terms of the boundaries, no, we cannot go to lunch one-on-one. We could do group lunches, right?
Okay, yeah.
But I'm not going to lunch with you one-on-one.
And that's expectations should be set like boom right out the gate from the onset, right?
Yeah.
You
like,
know?
oh, you want to catch lunch? Oh, let me grab Susie and Jim, right?
Right. Okay.
Let's all go. Right?
That's true.
So it's not like, no, I'm not going to lunch with you, because then that starts something for no reason.
Right. Then also that starts water cooler talk. Like, hey, look at, Susie and John. They gone to lunch and everything like that. What's up with that?
And that's what always happens. They're so happy. They're getting in the car together. What are they talking about? And if you start to confide in your coworker more than your spouse or your significant other, that's a problem. Right?
But here's the thing, because again, referencing back to the Me Too movement, right? Again, you have women nowadays, they aspirations are their careers, just like, whether it's an actress or whatever the case may be. But what if you're put in a position where, again, you're at your superior is a male, and now you have to balance, man, you have a personal relationship, you want to advance in your professional relationship, but, how do I navigate dating in the workplace, or even crossing that boundary?
Wait, crossing a boundary with your superior?
Right.
Nah.
No,
not
even superior. No, I'm sorry, superior. Or just co-worker. That's what I meant.
So
it's just in the workplace, period.
You are interested in someone that you work with. That's what we're saying?
Right.
As a woman.
Right.
Okay, so I need that man to make it clear that he's interested in me. Right?
So do you believe dating in the workplace is even allowed, period?
So some jobs don't allow it, some jobs do. The thing I would say, if this is where you want to work, you love it here, you're not leaving, be sure that person is your husband. But
now you're balancing, say 3 years down the road, you're trying to get senior position at this job.
Okay.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
And your relationship with this person could potentially affect that position.
Yeah.
Again, what happens in 2020 you can't foresee in 2023. So do you believe dating in the workplace just is allowed, period? Or where's the caveat, you must envision that person as your husband?
So literally, you should be able to spend time with the person and you guys enjoy each other's company, this group stuff. So you take it back to old school courting. So literally, there has to be strong intention for marriage for you to be there. So it's like, I wouldn't just go dating anybody. It'd be like, wow, I heard what you said. This is so amazing.
Hang out,
that kind of stuff.
Vibe.
And you really see something more and there's some strong intentions there, then you have to have a real conversation. Like, what are we doing? Right? Because if we're not sure, we could still be friends at work and whatever. But if we really want to explore this, let's talk about the different avenues here and what I desire and what you desire, because it's a very tricky road. Somebody gonna end up having to leave that job
because you're not trying to affect your bag here at the end of the day, right?
Because I'm not leaving. I'm trying to
like I was here first.
Ladder.
You was second. I'm trying to get to that 6-figure mark here. But I completely understand, and I agree with you. Because I've been in a lot of situations where, you start messing with somebody in the workplace and it becomes very detrimental down the road. It ends up, like bleeding into the home and everything like that. So, but now moving into the next part here. Now, dealing with boss CEOs, female CEOs, right? Okay. Now, I like a woman. I like a woman that gets her bag, right? So, how do you feel with women that makes more than men?
As long as it's not a problem for them, right?
Hold on, because I'm telling you, for a lot of men, that's the issue. That's the issue, because
Here's the thing, right? When you start to see your home as a one unit, right?
Mm-hmm.
Versus two people operating separately, it changes things. I see that there's usually a problem because this is my money over here and this is my money over here. I'm getting my money, right? So then, then you end up resentful or somebody saying something that's disrespectful at the end of the day.
Boundaries
but
are
if
crossed,
you
right?
come to a place where you're like, you know what? Here's our combined vision: home, trips, family, investment properties, content studios, whatever it may be.
Right.
We're coming together to put our resources here. And then, okay, yes, you can have an account over here with money. I can have an account over here. So you don't feel like, oh, I have to ask permission type of thing.
Right. Okay.
But
I
it's
see
like,
what you're
if
saying.
you come to a place where you're walking together in your vision with your savings and your investing and things of that sort, I don't see it to be a problem. Now, money is always an issue based on your money story from when you grew up.
Well, money, because I think money is half of a relationship, because in our culture, especially Caribbean or just minorities, period, that's not personal finances is not discussed enough, right? Even when you talk about like probate and just, hey,
Oh man,
what you got going on before we get together, because once we get together, what you got going on is now what we got going on. You feel me? And I feel, because let's think about it. The elites, or the people that are worth billions and millions of dollars, obviously, as they're getting together, they're having these conversations. So, why not those that's aspiring or even in the lower tier not have those same type of conversations? So bring it back home again, a woman making more money than a man, all right, although I can see it nowadays with more women entering the workplace and everything, okay, but the energy, how women push behind it, is something different. Because you see, as soon as I mentioned it, look at your face. Your face was like, no, this dude did it. No, he did not just go there, right? So, and this all just goes back, but I love it though.
Yeah.
I love the pushback. But this just all goes back into how to have a seamless work as well as personal relationship without, violating or crossing those lines. Is that still even possible in 2023?
Crossing what lines?
Crossing the lines of, okay, say we're in a relationship, you're a boss CEO, I'm a boss as well too, right? But I want to have a beautiful home where you're still able to cook and everything like that. You still, able to go ahead and run your department, right? Just don't bring that craziness home and everything like that. Man, you making more money than me. I can respect that.
Okay.
We're pulling up in twin Benzes. Like, okay. We got some six figures. We got six figures in the bank and everything, but I need you to be my lady too.
So then I think that comes down to values, right?
Values.
Yeah. So understanding and being able to articulate what your values and your top 4 needs are, right? So I have a card deck. It's a 60 questions to ask before choosing the one. It's called the Love Deck. And so one of the things that we ask is, what are your core 4 needs, right? So if you're like, you know what? I need food. Like that is a core need of mine. I need food. The question is, does she have to cook it, or does it just have to be on the table? If the food is good, that's on the table, does it really matter
if you made it or
was
not?
The one who slaved for 2 hours to make it, or does it just matter that she takes it out of whatever it was in and put it in a plate and put it on the table?
You got a good point, because sometimes my mama may come home and I want to talk about, my baby could cook. I do want to go ahead and brag sometimes, but I just don't want to see you going on an app and being able to Uber Eats everything all the time. But we'll talk about that.
Not all the time,
right.
but it's okay.
It is okay,
So for instance, right, my husband is a typical Haitian man, right? But I had to tell him that I wasn't his mama. Right? Like, this was before we got married. We talked about expectations.
Right.
And I said, so after I have this baby, can I just kick up my feet? He said, no. You gotta keep working. I was like, well, Dad,
hold on. It's like, man.
Soft life. Yeah. Okay, fine, I'll keep working. But then I also told him, I said, okay, if that's the case, then I'm still not your mama. Like, I'm not gonna run a business,
Right.
bring you your plate, pick up your plate, put up your feet, do the dance.
There's got to
like,
be a compromise.
there got to be something. Like,
Right.
I can't be your maid. Like, nothing in my childhood did I write on a vision board, be the maid. Like, wash the toilet. You know what I mean? Chop the chicken. Like, it just wasn't.
And she says it with the accent too. I love it. Yes,
Like,
I love it.
That cook, eat, recipe book. Like, I'll cook, but it is not my joyous place. You know
Understood.
what I mean? For some
Understood,
women,
right.
it is the joy that comes to feed the family and all of that. That is not where my
Right.
joy comes from. My joy is us being by the beach with some jerk chicken and some reggae vibes. I don't have to cook the jerk chicken. I'll bring it, right? So,
Right.
so those are the things. So he had to know who he was marrying, right? And a lot of my clients, cooking, it's not their joy place. They'll do it, but
Right. It's like almost just like a chore. I'll do it. It's
I'll
like,
do it.
right.
You
You
know
feel
what I
me?
mean?
But I'm not feeling
Right?
it like that.
Maybe I'm happier at the holidays to do it, but like when you start to talk about every day, let me tell you about the number one question that I hate: what we eating today?
Oh man.
Who made that my question to answer? Who made that my question to answer?
That is like a default. Yeah,
Like a
I
default
understand.
term
I
to
mean,
you.
yeah, it's like,
what we eating?
yeah,
Why are
what
you
we-
asking me?
yeah, you could meet a chick for the first day. Hey, what we eating today?
What we eating?
That is true.
So literally what we've been doing, we've tried out everything since the pandemic. We tried a chef, we didn't like it because it turns out to be like the same cooking, the same
The
spices,
same
the same
cycle
stuff.
just going.
We tried the meal prep. It was just chopped chicken with some sauce on it. Didn't want to do that.
Mhm.
We've done the boxes where you cook them. Then we're like, so many things are going bad because we ain't got the time. We got
The
Zoom
time.
meetings and other meetings and meetings. We're cooking this.
Right.
So then now we have the pre-done meals that you just put in the air fryer toast oven thing.
Boom.
And that has been working out well. And I asked my husband yesterday, I was like, you know what? I'm kind of getting tired of this. He was like, I'm not. Because then what's the alternative? Me cooking the same like three things. Because then that's another thing. It's like you have your default meals and then you have your creative meals. When you're busy, you just season
That is
the
true,
thing the
yeah.
way you season it. And
The
here's
little
some
5-10
food.
minute meals, right?
That's it,
that
like,
is true.
And my go-to is some jerk wings or some salmon, and that's what we're
Boom,
doing.
yeah.
Real
Ain't
simple. You
nothing
might get sweet
creative.
There's no creativity. None whatsoever. So if you're looking for an array of chef-done stuff,
Oh, no aki and saltfish or none of that good stuff. That's all down the
let me drink
person.
my water.
Oh man, Ari, I went too far. I'm sorry. I did not mean to do that, but
So it comes down to expectations and really
Right.
looking at what are my core needs and just getting specific. Okay, so I understand that you're a man that likes to eat, but does that food have to be cooked by me on a daily basis? Or are you good with me cooking twice a week and the rest of it we figure it out together as a team?
And that's the beautiful aspect of relationships, right? And okay, now we've took a deep dive into relationships. As we get into this part of the show, I want to talk about being successful in business because you work with a lot of professional women. So
Yeah.
what are some of the steps or the secret sauce that you share with women to be successful in business?
Yeah. So in terms of being successful in business, if you are a business owner, not career, but you're starting your own business, but it's your business on the side, I would say to that cliche thing, do something that you love.
Ooh.
Because
That's the starting point.
it really is.
It really is the
because
starting
if
point,
you
though.
don't
Yeah,
love
real
this,
talk.
this is for the birds. You know what I mean?
Right. You can't do it for the sake of money.
Oh, hallelujah. No. Right? So ain't no money. Got you up 3:00 in the morning trying to think of how else can I impact these women. You know what I mean? Like I take this seriously, right? And we're talking about matters of the heart. So I'll tell you my own story of going from employee to employer, right?
Okay.
So for me, it was November of 2021. Right?
Okay, not too long
And
ago.
Not too long ago, right? So I've been essentially an entrepreneur on the side for the last 20 years, right?
Okay.
But then to take the leap of letting go of that.
Oh, you did. So this was
paycheck.
part time.
Yeah,
Now it was
uh-huh.
full time. 2021.
Man,
Gotcha.
That paycheck,
Yeah, that security.
automatic-
Yeah.
That automatic every 2 weeks.
It's
in your
like
bank account, you kind of skating through, you do just enough not to get fired.
That
right?
is, yeah, it's
right?
like let me just get these 40 hours in. That's it. All right.
You do what you need to do. I was still loved. They still love me, So
Okay.
I was moving up that ladder,
Right.
Got my benefits.
All right.
And, the pandemic, I'm an extreme extrovert. So I can hang out. Y'all are all family now. We
Right.
can
We're going
hang
to
out.
vibe out and
You know
everything.
what I mean? We could rock all day long. So for
That's
me,
what's
I
up.
thought that I couldn't do the work from home thing because I thought I needed people.
The energy, right.
Yeah, I thought I needed all the
Yeah.
people, the water cooler conversation. But during the pandemic, I started to realize that I didn't like water cooler conversation. Right? I don't want to know how your weekend was.
The gossip, you
know
didn't want to
I
be
don't
into,
know
yeah.
what Susie was doing with John last week. I don't care. You know what I mean? Like, there's so much more to life than this foolishness. You
Real
know what
talk.
I mean?
Real
like
talk.
the bickering in the office. I don't want to know. I don't care.
That is true.
Right? So as we started to work from home, I started to realize, like,
I like this.
yeah,
Right.
this is cool to be here and just get the job done and be done with it. Like, I don't need all this extra stuff. And then I went to a church retreat, and there was like a verse that was talking about, if you are connected to the source, you'll never go hungry, right?
Wow.
And I started to realize that, for the last year, I made consistent money in my business because, it's not always guaranteed, right? As an entrepreneur,
the ebbs and flows.
Sometimes,
Oh, trust me, we know. Yeah, we know over here at Blueprint, but yeah, it is.
Coaster, you know what I'm saying? And them expenses come in like pat, pat.
But you just gotta bob and weave. That's it.
Right? For the entrepreneurs out there, you know what I'm talking about, right? So I started to realize, like, wow, I did make consistent money in the last year. So you know what? This is amazing. Okay. And so one of the things that my mentor told me that just hit me like a ton of bricks right in my stomach, like, oh, she said, now, Cass, when you die, how would you feel if God said, look at all of what I had for you, but instead you chose to be comfortable?
Damn.
Right?
Damn.
Well, let me go ahead and put in my resignation.
Yeah, it's like, okay.
That was it, right? Like, because literally I was living in this box, and what hurt even more is when I told the CEO, she was just like, I knew this was coming.
She seen the potential, right? She see the potential in you.
So to me, she represented God because I was like, God is looking at me like, girl, you could do so much more, but you're keeping yourself in this box. And my husband, I would go to him every now and then like, babe, can I quit my job? And he'd be like, that's your answer to answer.
Right.
That's not for me
That's
to
a personal
answer.
soul searching.
That's for you to answer.
Mm-hmm.
So when I finally did it, he was like, congratulations. Man, it sure is scary.
It's like damn,
some deep water,
new territory here. But we got this though. We got floaties on. We got this.
Got the floaties.
All right.
So what I tell women who are in business is to be sure that this is something that you want to do. There's nothing wrong with having a job and a business. Like, it's a lot to just have a business, right? It is, right? It is a lot. With no fail safe, if you have kids, all that, it's no games to be played with. But then also, as you venture into this business, you still make time for love. And too often do I see, well, Coach Cass, I'm just going to get my business to this
level, right?
This level. As a business owner, the measurements and the goals just keep going. It's
the goalpost is always pushing.
Yeah,
right,
like you don't stop and celebrate. Ain't no wiggle, wobble, wobble going.
The billionaires are still pushing. So yeah.
Like, we're not celebrating nothing, right? I just had a friend, I want to say they did $30,000 with something simple the other day. I was like, did you celebrate? They're like, nah, man, I got to pay off this bill.
We got to keep going, right?
Keep going. I'm
exactly.
Like, where is the celebration? So with love, I'll tell you right now, I still have that hustle and grind, right? That's still a part of me, but I still have to make time for the love that I chose. So the only difference between me and the single woman is that I have someone to lean on, to cry on their shoulder, to be able to hold my hand, to pray, right? So, and that's what I desire for her. That's what I desire for the professional women, is that you can accomplish your goals in life, in business, and in love.
That's a trifecta right there. To be honest with you, I'm telling you, as a dude, it's very hard on our end, especially as a black man. Like you said, I'm a full-time entrepreneur, right? So we don't have that fail-safe. There's no guaranteed income every week, but you still have to, as you're striving to be the best person as you are, you also have to, find time to give energy to your relationship. as well as give relationships to your family and everything, your colleagues and everything that you have out there. So, I definitely agree with you as far as finding love in what you're doing as an ingredient to success, right?
Yeah.
So, now, as we're ready to wrap up the show, you are working, if I'm not mistaken, on a book. Oh no, you're not working on a book, but a tour, if I'm not mistaken. No,
I have a live event.
a live event
Oh,
coming
yes.
up. Yes, I seen it. Right, the Wanted Woman Live. Right.
Yes.
Yeah. So for the females that's out there, I wanted to see if you could touch on that a little bit, so potentially they could catch it and not miss out on it.
Okay, so Wanted Woman Live specifically is for one of three women. One, the ever hopeful, the one that still has hope in her heart that love is available to her, no matter what society says, her age, her stage, wherever she is. The second is the renewed heart, might have gone through a really bad breakup or divorced and
Right.
wondering, like, can this really be? Yes.
That's
it
sort of
can.
like the rebound phase.
Yes.
Gotcha.
And then
Mhm.
the third is the confident dater, that one that's been dating and all the good things, but sis still ain't getting this
Ain't
thing
getting
right
it,
at all.
nah.
The thing that I realized is that nobody really taught us about love, right? Yes, we may have seen it on TV. A lot of
Right.
times we just ear hustle from conversations and say, oh, maybe I'll try that. But we don't really have a place that we go to as a legit source of how do we do this thing called relationship? When do you text? How do you date? How do you choose the right one for you? So I created a
True. Okay.
conference. I created an experience that I didn't see in the marketplace, right? How do you really attract the person that you desire? How do you really vet and choose the person that you want?
Hold on.
And how do you really marry them?
Sorry to cut you off a little bit. I'm assuming one of your biggest challenges is the Tinder men out there, like the Tinder apps and the dating apps and everything.
Tinder.
Like, yes, So how do you deal with? Because correct me if I'm wrong. Is that a lot of the feedback? A lot of your mentees or your women within your community are saying that they're dealing with men that's also into these apps and dating apps and everything like that, and get the expectations of those?
Okay, so I am not anti-dating apps, right? So that's a whole nother show, right? So,
Whoa,
My
okay.
thing is, as a busy professional woman, more than likely you working all the time. So who are you supposed to meet and when you supposed to meet them, right? And
Good
I hear,
point.
well,
Wow.
Coach Cass, I'm gonna go outside. All right, how many things you been to? I went to this one wedding in January, ma'am. You ain't gonna meet nobody like that, all right? So we want to exhaust
Okay.
all opportunities to meet
All
someone.
lanes you want to
So,
touch on.
Yeah, so we're
Gotcha.
going to talk about it all at Wanted Woman Live. You go to wantedwomanlive.com and 50% off when they use the code Blueprint. Okay?
Oh, you hear that? Okay.
So that's something special that I have for the audience. So wantedwomanlive.com. And if you're like, oh, Coach Cass, I really want to go, but listen, let's talk about it. Go to wantedwoman.com. Reach out to me. Let's have a conversation of how we can get you there. Because at the end of the day, what I know is what you've been doing hasn't been working. And that's why I exist. Period.
I love it. Love it. Love is obviously, the most beautiful feeling, beautiful force in the world right now. And what you're doing is so monumental, right? Because there's not enough of love in the world. I have a motto I usually tell everybody, it's like, smiles are free, give it away,
Yeah.
because, with so much negativity, obviously, we don't have to go into a rabbit hole of that. Again, smiling and light and love, there's just not enough of it. So what you're doing is awesome, especially for the women out there and in our culture. They may, a lot of women, y'all want to bash us, or y'all mama boys, I ain't know but some, y'all not working out there, you know what I'm saying? Y'all just want to sit in the block, smoke weed all day. Yeah, y'all be bashing us. Y'all bash
So
us.
some of y'all do want to sit on the block.
I
and
know.
smoke weed. That is definitely a thing. I do have a email right now in my box that says something like that. What's up with these dudes that want to sit on the block and smoke weed all day?
Hey, but we're a work in progress, though. We're a work in progress. You feel me? So, but hey, it is what it is. But, Coach Cass, I'm glad to have had you here today. Can we bring you back?
Of course.
Because you're local. Hey,
Hey.
y'all felt the Jamaican and the Caribbean vibes in here, so we got the Zoe and the Dread vibes going on in here, y'all. You feel me? But listen in, guys, definitely check out this episode and every other episode. Coach Cass, but hold on. Before we stop the show, hold on. I have one final question. And of course, this is a question I usually like to share with all of my guests. What's your one bit of advice? You, of course, shared as far as women in business, you advise them as far as having purpose in their passion. Right. And of course, I just want to follow that because I want to save this clip here. What is your one bit of advice? Because you did mention mentorships. You've been in a mentorship. You mentee, other women. What's the one bit of advice or one bit of recipe outside of passion and your purpose that you would like to give the audience as far as being successful in business?
So in order to be successful in business, you have to master the mundane.
The
so
mundane.
What does that mean? Mastering the mundane. At one point, I met John C. Maxwell, right? So he has millions of copies of books. And one of the things that he said is that he had to master the mundane. So he would write every single day. Write every single day. But what about on your birthday? I write. What about on Christmas? I write. What about on your anniversary? I write. Because I'm a writer. And writers write. So I had to master the mundane and do something daily. So my invitation for those of you in business, what are the mundane tasks that you have been avoiding that need to be mastered? Because when you master them, you get more success.
Dope. You hear that? And especially, we're not talking about Siri, guys. Actually writing it down. Yes. All right. Actually writing it down. Y'all know I got to bring some light into the situation. All right. Coach Cass, man, great to have you.
Thanks for having me, Wes. Bless you.
Awesome.
Bless you.
Listen, you dropped a lot of great gems today. I know I know the audience won today because they was able to walk away with a lot of great gems, especially the female entrepreneurs. Drop in the comment if you want Coach Cass to come back for a part 2. Okay, because listen, I know there's going to be a lot of follow-up questions, and we want to go ahead and answer those questions for you guys, all right? But definitely check out Coach Cass's book as well as her live event. Yes. Live event that's coming, yes.
The links will be down below.
In the bio, yes. We're going to put the links down in the bio. Also, everything you want to know about Coach Cass will be inside the bio, including her Instagram, which is Inspire Many.
Yes.
I love it.
That's what I seek to do.
Inspire Many. I love it. And also, you could capture all past episodes on all platforms such as Spotify, Apple, iTunes, and of course here on YouTube. Listen, guys, this is the show where we give you the blueprint on how to do shit. And today we gave you the blueprint on how to be successful in business, guys. As always, catch you on the flip side. Peace.